All right, Craig, I see you. Can you hear me? Craig? Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. This is Dale. Craig, can you hear me? It's showing the audio go up and down. Okay.
And now I'm in with Dale and Craig. So maybe click on that one.
Yeah, I'm trying that right now. Oh, okay, that's more. I think that's going to be more like it.
Yeah.
Hmm. Allow. Okay, got it. Join. Okay, I think this is going to work.
Hey guys.
All right, now we can hear you and see you.
Excellent.
But we don't have Jacob. Okay, well, so let me just kick this off and you guys can talk. So Craig's original idea was to have everybody, each person do a presentation of 10 minutes and then do a Q&A.
Sure.
I think in chatting with Dale and in chatting with Jacob, Craig, I'm wondering how you would feel about maybe mixing it up just a little bit, because given that Jacob's not an IT professional, he's really going to be operating or offering the position of, a IT savvy co-working space owner, which might mean that it might be better to have a little bit more of a moderated discussion rather than 10 individual or three individual 10-minute segments. So would love to hear everybody's thoughts on that.
All right, so I think maybe one of the questions would be, do we want to assign topics so that we don't kind of rehash a lot of the same things over and over?
Yeah, I'm not hearing Craig. Did anybody hear me?
I hear you, Iris. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, Jason. Craig, we're not hearing you. Oh.
Hey, I actually, Dale, can you say something? I want to make sure I can hear you too.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Maybe is there like a microphone issue maybe on Craig's end?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, Dale, you're great.
Yeah, Dale, we hear you fine. I think Craig is having a problem with the presenter link or something that he's using. I'm not sure.
And you look great.
Yeah.
Craig, actually, in the meantime, can you just do the group chat thing?
Mm-hmm. Let me see if I can start the group chat thing. Chat. Craig, I am here. Okay. I don't hear feedback. So Dale, what topics would you like?
So, I guess I want to understand, like, what is the how do we premise this webinar? What was the women? What are the people expecting? The audience.
So we premised it as basically the questions and the challenges that come up for shared space owners. shared workspace owners as they start their space and as they grow their space and as their space matures. So the IT challenges that space managers and space owners face. And I think Jason sent out an email. I don't think you were copied on that email, but Jason sent out an email that was really great. It covered a lot of, I think, softer issues, not hardware or necessarily even network issues. Well, I guess there was some network in there, right, Jason? But it was also just sort of, some of it was even framing your thinking around how you think about your IT and making sure you think about it as something rather than as an afterthought. Craig, how about if I call you again, and that way you can talk, because I think this discussion is going to go better if we can hear you, since you'll be leading tomorrow.
Sorry, guys. Do you, huh.
You know,
Huh.
I'm going to go on mute, and Dale, will you tell me if you still hear that feedback?
Yeah, go ahead. Jason, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, it's when Iris is speaking, it's like I can hear like it's almost like it's delayed like and then
Oh, okay. It's actually very much possible that maybe Iris's feedback off of my system. So I'm going to mute myself. And Iris, can you talk for a bit?
Yeah, okay, I'm unmuted. Are you still having the same feedback problems, Dale? I'm unmuted, and I'm not talking through a headset. I'm just talking through my computer speaker.
okay, I think it's fixed. I know what the issue is. There was two Google Hangouts running. Sorry, I just noticed that the problem's resolved.
Okay, I'm unmuted now too. Do you hear feedback
That was
now?
an easy fix.
Let's see.
Craig and I are creating some feedback.
So yeah, in general, In general, I will definitely be using a Bluetooth headset when we do this. So I apologize because I'm on a system where I'm literally I'm on a laptop and I'm not using a headset right now. Sorry, guys. So in fact, no. Last Tuesday, last Tuesday I had a baby, but last Tuesday I also gave a co-working IT talk at Galvanize in San Francisco, and I had a couple of topics that I talked about. I could rehash some of those if we want. They're kind of geared toward, and that's one of the questions that I have is what is the audience like? What level of savvy is the audience? Because when I gave my talk on Tuesday, it was designed for single locations, co-working operators or shared workspace operators with one location that are thinking to scale beyond one location, or just simply to do things a little bit more organized so that they can scale. Are we thinking more sophisticated than that? Are we thinking less sophisticated than that? Is really the question. I'm not really sure what audience we're talking to.
We're going after more of that 201, 300 level people that
Hmm.
after the 101 co-working crowd here. We're going after the people that have been in business for a year, maybe a few years, and they are ready to scale their business or go into additional spaces. They're ready to fine-tune their operations. Okay, so I think we're in agreement with that.
Okay, good. Given that, what do you see, Dale, as something that you? I mean, I think from my perspective, it made sense for you, Dale, to be talking about hardware, but also advanced hardware topics. You guys provide One Systems provides a lot of solutions from a hardware perspective and a network perspective. But Dale, honestly, I also think that you offer a unique perspective in that you are an entrepreneur who travels everywhere. You use shared workspaces quite often to run your business, and so sort of from the other angle, what are your ideas or what are your thoughts that you see in as you visit different spaces and as you work out of different spaces? I think that would be also a unique sort of way to look at this.
Okay, so I'm just thinking what the subject. I think obviously one of the subjects is going to be Wi-Fi. It would be something to talk about. I assume that then most of the spaces we're speaking to are looking to scale, so that they want something that's easy to be able to manage multiple locations. Is probably one of the subjects. I guess, Jason, what if I want to make sure that we interest people. What are some of the items that, do we want to sort of do this more of a Q&A or more as to where we're going to be just talking to certain points that we think are interesting to the people?
Well, I do think it's important for us to have at least maybe one topic each, at least to present,
Okay.
to just start the conversation, because it'll just lend a little bit more structure to the conversation. I just want to make sure that we don't necessarily rehash the same topics, each of us. So it'd be great for us to just throw out a couple of topics that are close to our hearts and just divvy them up, and I think we can go through 1, 2, 3, and then and also Jacob, of course, and then after that, what really worked well on Tuesday, I actually tried to keep it down to very few topics. I think it was like 3 topics, and then I opened it up for questions, and because I had already talked about 3 topics, it got everybody kind of thinking about the kinds of problems that they are having or planning, and they had a lot of questions, and they were really energized to talk about it. So, I could, I actually have the little note that I worked from on Tuesday, and I could just tell you essentially what I talked to them. I just chose random topics because there's just way too much to talk about, really.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to really limit it.
What subjects that, there's a lot of different subjects to talk to. What ones do you found that people are most intrigued about? And because I think all of us can talk to these different subjects. So I think we can just which ones did you find really the audience were really engaged?
Yeah, I actually thought one of the topics I think all 3 topics that I talked about were really big, and I'll just tell you what they were. One of them was the sort of overall infrastructure for standardized onboard, offboarding processes for both internal staff as well as members, plus and sort of within this realm of how to really effectively implement self-help for both internal staff and members. That was kind of big because it's really designed towards saving the co-working space's employees time and obviously payroll money. Another one was asset and lifecycle management. Just overall, Another one, I guess there's 4 topics. Another one was sort of the security. Don't gloss over security. Make it a requirement topic. And then the last one, well, the first one really was just enterprise network hardware. The difference between and like the importance of enterprise network hardware over consumer or even kind of like prosumer network hardware. And that was basically it. And just the little discussion about each of those topics really spurred a lot of interest and tons of questions and discussion just from those.
Great.
Okay, so I mean, well, which one of the? I think one of the things which I can definitely speak to heavily, because I agree with you, Jason. I think it's a huge thing is the self-service. I think that it's interesting, and we can talk to. There's what's interesting is I think co-working centers and shared spaces in general are finding that as they scale, that the time consumption of dealing with the IT component becomes overwhelming. So there's a whole component to that, or to the point where they just give up services. Like I was speaking to Michael Feinstein from Burrow, he's quite a large operator in terms of spaces, and he's like, I'm just going to give up voice because it's too much headache to deal with. I'm like, well, why don't you make it self-service? He's like, well, I don't know how to do it, so it's easier just to offer it, and they just bring in whatever they want. I don't want to deal with it. So it's like that the avenue is, well, it's too much headache, so I'm just not going to offer it. And so you start losing some of your competitive advantage. You become much more like commercial real estate than you do. So I think that there's a big component to that. I think number 3 is very, very important. Jason, I don't know if you want to speak to that, but I think so many people are going out and buying. They don't see the value in the enterprise network hardware, right? They go out and they'll buy stuff at Best Buy, and then when it doesn't perform, they're frustrated.
Yeah, I really believe in that, and I think any of us can really talk about that. It's just some of the really key features in enterprise network hardware. Most of the co-working operators, frankly, even some of the co-working operators that actually have it, they don't realize that those are things. Like the importance of like loop protection, spanning tree, air marshal whips, all these things that most co-working operators have no idea what kind of practical impact it has on their membership. So it's really fun, actually, to talk about some of these things because generally when you explain it in a way that is really understandable to the layman, people are like eyes open, like, wow, I didn't even realize that we could avoid those problems. The whole idea of enterprise hardware just being that instead of fixing problems, you just sidestep them completely.
I agree 100%. And then I guess Jacob's didn't have a chance to join us today, right? So is someone going to touch base with him and see what subject he wants to talk to? I mean,
He's working on getting in right now.
Okay. Well, now, I guess tomorrow. So I think the plan's going to be is I think we can sort of just. Iris, are you going to moderate Are you going to moderate it, or is Craig going to moderate the?
Craig is the moderator.
Okay, perfect. So Craig will moderate it, introduce us, and then we can speak to these different points, and then we can then just open up to Q&A. How long do we want to keep this? Is it to an hour?
It's 30 minutes.
30 minutes. Okay. So
Sorry,
then.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Let me take a look. Let me take a look at the link.
Jacob, we can't hear Craig for some reason today. We don't know why.
You can't hear Craig?
30 minutes plus Q&A. Yeah, we can't hear Craig. So.
I could hear him when I was watching the other link, but I can't hear him now.
We don't know why. We've tried several different things today.
Oh, okay.
I think we need an IT expert.
Hey Craig, you don't happen to have a just like a different system that you can try from?
Yeah, a whole new laptop.
Like your phone, even?
Yeah, even the phone would work.
Mm-hmm.
Hangouts and phone work pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, sorry I'm late. What am I talking about? What am I going to do?
So,
Hi, Jacob. So Dale and Jason have just been talking about, different topics and sort of the format. Jason, do you want to catch Jacob up?
sure. We have pretty limited time to talk during the webinar, so we want to just kind of structure it efficiently. And so we're thinking about maybe just taking one topic each and speaking for like 5 or so minutes, and then going one after another, and then opening it up to questions for any of the topics. So we're just talking about some of the topics that might be really useful. And Dale and I were both talking about we were a couple of topics that are very dear and near to our hearts. One being the real features and benefits of enterprise network hardware. Another being how to implement asset and lifecycle management well for all of your systems. Another one being how to really effectively onboard and offboard internal staff as well as members. And within that realm, how to really implement self-help effectively for both, again, both internally as well as for members. And those are just a couple of topics that are good, but I mean, there's tons more. We were very curious to see what you would say because you're an operator. I will be an operator, but not yet. So, from your perspective, we'd love to hear a couple of topics that you'd like to talk about.
Yeah, no, I can talk about any of those things. I'm definitely interested in all those things. I'm trying to think of a unique angle. I can either support you guys in talking about those bits, or I could talk more about the like member management software or something. I could also talk about talking about.
Yes, please.
I can talk about Cobot and Exodus or paper systems that people use or rolled their own, or I can also inject Nadine and what Nadine's price is and all of that.
I feel like Craig.
Can I do it? Me?
Yay, we can hear you, Craig.
Yeah, Craig too.
Yeah? Well, all right. Let me just stop.